A few days ago, Bruno Le Maire, our Minister of Finance, assured with the support of German Economy Minister Robert Habeck that people can live very well without Facebook after Meta threatened to remove its services from Europe, after Europe threatened to tighten online privacy rules. Meta hasn't been doing great lately. The combination of a decrease in active users and the emergence of complaints on the metaverse has impacted its stock value. While my immediate reaction to what Bruno had to say was like, yeah, pay your taxes, Meta, I also immediately thought about those thousands of self-employed individuals and small businesses that heavily rely on big tech platforms in Europe. What if it wasn't Meta but Google that threatened to remove its services from Europe? Well, content creators, myself included, would be greatly impacted. In fact, even if big tech ultimately obliged to the new privacy rules, well, the impact on your favorite creators' revenue and financial stability will be severe. If you are used to watch videos on YouTube like me, you've probably heard creators complain that ad revenue fluctuates a lot and it isn't a stable source of income. To sum it up briefly, each monetized video has a CPM, a cost per mile, which is the money you make per 1,000 views. That CPM changes according to the competitiveness of your niche, so that's usually, self-help, finance-related content will have a high CPM, and lifestyle, commentary content will have a small one. Now, looking at the direction we're going with those new regulations on privacy, it seems that targeted ad could disappear in the near future. What would that mean for creators, artists, freelancers who rely on ad revenue? CPM could go down, because what got advertisers to invest in those Facebook ads, Google ads, is their targeted aspect. Similarly, small businesses have come to rely on targeted ads to promote their business. Only a few get blessed by the algorithm on Instagram or TikTok. The other ones have to work very hard to find their audience, and targeted ads was something that kind of facilitated that process. Now you probably think that I sound like a meta executive trying to save the business, but I'm not. I'm talking on behalf of those at the very bottom of the ladder. This video is about independent creators, freelancers, artists, small businesses. So if you're one of them, or if you follow or support any of them, this video is going to help you understand what's going on and what's going to happen in the near future. But before we do that, I'd like to introduce you to today's sponsor, RAN. I've made videos in the past related to the climate crisis, as it's something we simply can't afford to ignore. Well, RAN is all about helping you participate in the fight against this crisis. RAN is a website where you can calculate your carbon footprint, then offset it by funding a diverse mix of carbon reduction projects like tree planting, mineral weathering, and rainforest protection. By answering a few questions about your lifestyle, you can find out your carbon footprint and how to reduce it. So mine is 6.3 tons of CO2 per year, which is not super bad in comparison to other countries, but I can certainly do better than that. What I like about RAN is that it not only encourages you to make changes on an individual level, but also fund global projects. As an example, Clean Air Task Force is a climate policy group focused on catalyzing climate solutions that have the potential to scale to reverse climate change. And there's also a tree planting program in Tanzania, Kenya, and Uganda, and 50% of their leaders are women. Once you sign up to make a monthly contribution to offset your carbon footprint, you receive monthly updates from the projects you support. It will take a lot to end the climate crisis, and you can start helping today by learning more on ren.co. The first 100 people who sign up using the link in the description will have 10 extra trees planted in their name. Thank you, Ren, for sponsoring this portion of the video, and now let's go back to it. First things first, let's get rid of the word independent. There's no such thing as being independent as a creator. You always depend on something or someone else. Tech platforms, let's take Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, so that means Meta, ByteDance, Amazon and Google have a lot of power on creators, and the reverse simply isn't the case. However, big tech is subjected to government's legislations and sovereignty, as Bruno Le Maire sought to remind them. We can argue that big tech is so powerful that it sometimes challenges government sovereignty, so that hierarchy isn't always that strong. Finally, as I argued in my Follow Your Passion and Death of Creativity videos, it is extremely rare that governments offer support to creators. They can legislate to force big tech to improve their work conditions, but yeah, there are very few interactions between the two, creators and public institutions. self-promo here, but I do have a Patreon page, you can go and check it out. We have a Discord chat room, we have a book club. I absolutely love this community. Patreon allows creators to make subscription revenue from fans and supporters. Jack Conte, musician, co-founder and CEO of Patreon, had the idea when he got frustrated after he posted a music video that did very well on YouTube but didn't pay off financially. He said,
I remember this feeling in 2012. I had spent 3 months working on this music video. I poured my savings account into the video. I spent 10 grand on it. I maxed out 2 credit cards. I remember this feeling the night before upload, where I realized, I'm going to put this video on YouTube. It's going to get 1 million views, because that's what my videos would get, and my paycheck for that is going to be like $160 from YouTube. I remember thinking, how is this still possible?
And there came the idea of Patreon. Our mission at Patreon is simple. We want to fund the creative class. We eat, sleep and breathe that mission every day. We want to get as many creators paid as possible so they can enjoy sustainable income, retain creative control of their work and keep a direct connection to their audience. So when I was creating my Patreon page, I was kind of looking at what other YouTubers put on them, and it's true that the stable income bit was something that came back every time. Patreon's mission aligns with general trends regarding what is now called the creator economy. In fact, 58% of people would be interested in paying a subscription fee to have access to exclusive content from one of their favorite influencers. That is huge. And as a content creator myself, this is very good news because yes, it's true. Being able to rely on a stable income and have the support of real people feels very good. This power back to the creator movement is really making progress. It seems that every social media platform has its own built-in subscription feature now. Twitch is the first one that comes to mind to me. Meta and Twitter are also joining the club, and recently Instagram and TikTok said they would test it. I cannot help but wonder why. What's going on? Why tech companies suddenly care about creators' stable income? And of course, where do we draw the line between a belief and act for the common good and vested interests? Okay, I think it's time to nuance all that creator economy glamorization. Let's look at the numbers. The creator economy, as it was defined by the influencer marketing agency, represents a market size of more than 50 million creators, paired with an influencer marketing industry size of $13.8 billion in 2021, and hundreds of new startups in the space. The total creator market size is at least $104.2 billion. That is huge. It doesn't stop growing, and tech companies want a share of it. Now, you could argue that they are already getting a big share of it, that there must be something else prompting them to move to creator subscriptions. Well, think about what we said earlier in regards to new regulations on privacy and ads that are putting Meta in a tricky situation. Basically, Meta and similar platforms have to move away from ads if they want to survive long term. Another self-interested aspect of that move is something that Li Jin, founder of Atelier Ventures, a venture capital firm that invests in the creator economy, says platforms can't afford to ignore: the competition for talent. She says there's a limited number of creators and everyone is in competition for them. You've probably seen your favorite TikTokers move to YouTube or your favorite YouTubers move to Instagram. The competition is real, it's tough. And what better way to keep a creator on your platform than by chaining them to a subscription service? It encourages them to create regular content to get that subscription money at the end of the month. The platform becomes invisible. The fan gives money to the creator delivers exclusive content to the fan. It sounds way more ethical than ad revenue, and the platform still get a good share of the profit. Okay, so if we sum up what we've talked about today, we said that tech companies are impacted by new regulations, demands for data privacy, and a general popular distrust. Therefore, they turn to a new built-in model based on subscriptions that was popularized by Twitch and Patreon. Honestly, it appeared as the solution for all their problems: the ad problem, the unethicality problem, and the competition for talent. Does it stop there? Is this the end of the video? You can quickly check and realize that it's not. I need you to stay a little bit longer with me. In fact, the power to the creator movement has spread to or came to coincide with another movement. I'm talking about
blockchain.
What is known as blockchain technology.
It's called blockchain.
What's blockchain?
That's a really good question.
Blockchain is often related to Web3, and according to Wikipedia, Web3 is a new iteration of the World Wide Web based on blockchain technology, which incorporates concepts including decentralization and token-based economics. Some technologists and journalists have contrasted it with Web2, wherein they say data and content are centralized in a small group of companies, sometimes referred to as big tech. Actually, to give you an example, Wikipedia itself works similarly to blockchain since it depends on the collaborative effort of independent, decentralized volunteer writers. Wikipedia is decentralized in the sense that the ability to add information onto a page is completely open and public. While traditional encyclopedias rely on scholars to provide information, well, Wikipedia gives this role to the public by passing trusted authorities. Similarly, Bitcoin gives the role of the intermediary to the public by passing traditional central intermediaries, such as banks. Before we move on, I'd like to state that there are some interesting aspects about blockchain, but there are also a lot of aspects that seem very problematic to me in terms of governance and plutocracy. I'll share a link to a paper one of my Patreon shared with us if you want to learn more about that. But yeah, I want to learn more about blockchain and share it with you on this channel because the social and political implications of that movement that is gaining momentum are huge. As a social scientist, I simply cannot ignore it. So, what does blockchain, Web3 and cryptocurrencies have to do with the creator economy? Well, Web3 advocates really believe in giving power back to the individual and remove any limitations that might prevent it. So if we go back to this little animation we did earlier, we can now add what blockchain technology aims to do. It wants to get rid of any government or platform influence and interact directly with the creator. No third parties, no middleman, features that characterize the internet we have today, Web 2.
I mean, if there was a world where like I could post a video and like guarantee it do well and not have to worry about like magical algorithms and just be like, okay, like this is how it is, like I'm in control or whatever, and not like some company like tweaking everything, I'd be like, okay, that's cool.
You guys put tons of IP out there that's not yours, right? Like when you think about the technology that can be helpful and like NFTs and stuff like that, right? Like all the stuff that you guys are creating is all stuff, that intellectual property that your fans are willing to pay for. And right now, as it's currently structured, a brand sits in the way of that, or a channel or a platform or something like that.
In these two clips taken from CoinDesk, a platform for crypto enthusiasts, you can tell that these creators not only echo the concerns creators regularly share, but are genuinely optimistic about what blockchain can do to give power back to the creator. They see cryptocurrencies, NFTs, as a way to remove any algorithm intermediaries in the transaction between a fan and a creator. Now, let's keep in mind that any discussion around blockchain is highly speculative. There are as many Web3 enthusiasts as there are skeptics. Throughout this video, we talked about different agents, mostly private agents. But what about public agents, public institutions? I think they should do a better job at promoting, supporting, or highlighting creator projects that are educational, artistically innovative, but also offer alternatives to creators outside traditional platforms. Things are changing, the decentralized utopia of Web3 is gaining momentum, the creator economy is growing, and public agents have to understand that, face that reality, and start to seriously get involved to make sure it's about people and art and culture and entertainment, and not just money. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, we can continue the discussion in the comment section. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, if it's not done already. I'd like to thank my Patreons for their support. A special thank to Duchelle, Emmanuel, Roberto, James and Carla. Thank you to Ren as well for sponsoring this video. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Salut!